So once again, as I mentioned, I want to thank everyone for coming. And I was just saying that I know everyone is so busy, so it means a lot that you made a time in your day to come because this is very important to me. And I look at myself and where I am now in my life, as opposed to maybe even 5 years ago, when I think about always feeling tired or fatigued or my body can no longer do what it used to do, but my mind still feels the same. And I see it as a nurse. I see it with patients all the time. And that's something they lament about, that their mind still feels sharp but their body just not is quite what it used to be. And everyone probably notices people are living longer now, and you see some people, they live longer and they do things, they play tennis, they go for walks, and then you have people who feel like me. So I was excited about learning that there were things that I could do that could improve my stamina, um, take care of my gut health, give me more energy. And I was excited, and I wanted people to join me on this journey in looking at ways to feel our best. Although we can't cure anything, we can do our best to feel healthy and to feel like we're feeling alive as we're living. So, with that in mind, I'm going to turn this over to Erica, and she's going to tell us about the program.
Thank you, Alethia. Yes, it is a very powerful program. And before we get into that, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself and what brought me to this point. So I am a holistic registered nurse, detox specialist, and certified health and wellness coach. And I had a lot of physical issues for most of my young adulthood. And I just had pain, asthma, inflammation, chronic fatigue. But I also worked in the medical system. So I asked a lot of questions. And a lot of the solution was just more medication, more medication. And eventually that kind of stops working for chronic fatigue for certain inflammation cases, you know. So I started asking more questions, but I wasn't getting a lot of answers. And that's what led me down this path to all those other titles that I got along the way, because I was trying to find things to help myself. So it was an interesting path. It led me down a lot of not only physical, but also emotional exploration, you know, just diving into different trauma, self-care. I even found that there's diets that are very helpful to help these conditions that I was dealing with. And so it led me to this path of a raw vegan diet. And I'm not saying that that is something that, you know, people need to do, but for me, that is what ended up working. So when I was trying to figure out what was going on, I wasn't getting solutions. They finally found that I had Hashimoto's autoimmune thyroid, so low thyroid. And by doing this diet, it actually reversed it quite quickly. I would say within maybe 9 months, I no longer had thyroid antibodies. And I consistently get tested every year. I no longer have it. So when that happened and I realized diet reversed something that medical doctors cannot figure out how to reverse, I was pretty hooked. That was pretty exciting. Diet and lifestyle matter. And so that is when I decided to become a health and wellness coach and start coaching other people in this path. Unfortunately, it is not always the easiest thing to change your lifestyle or your diet. Even though I was convinced it worked and I saw it firsthand, it was something that was a little difficult to be coaching people around. So I started looking for a program that would potentially make that transition a lot easier. And I was pretty surprised when I found this program because it contained all the very things that I was convinced that we needed to heal our bodies naturally. So it contained detoxification. It contained the raw vegan greens. It contained really good proteins. It contained all the things that I had discovered was pretty instrumental, and even more. There were things that I didn't even have come upon my radar that this program had that I then realized were some of my missing pieces. So once I introduced the program to myself, mind you, I was already doing pretty well at this point, but it kicked my health up another level. So I didn't even realize I was having trouble sleeping at night until I started sleeping well. And then my skin started clearing up, my gut health, my allergies were completely gone. So these were things that I had already improved so much, but this just went to the next level. So I was pretty excited. I started sharing it with everybody, and my coaching business pivoted, and this is what I now coach clients on because I've just seen so many amazing transformations. And I'm going to also show you a couple pictures and share some stories with you towards the end. So it was pretty exciting that I found this answer and that I was sharing with everybody. So I'm sure you're curious about what this program is about. So I'm going to share my screen here and show you what this looks like. So it's a very simple daily routine. Like I had mentioned, it consists of aminos, which is protein, the greens, and detoxification. So let's get into the main component, I would call it. The heavy hitter is the power shake. So this is going to be what you would have for your meal. It's a green shake that you would have twice a day. And it contains the equivalent of about 6 microgreen salads. So it's very high nutrient density. And the interesting thing too is that it's grown regeneratively. So a lot of green powder shakes that you see, they're great. You know, they increase your vegetable serving. That's never a bad thing. But this is so different because it's grown regeneratively. So there's so many differences between regenerative farming and traditional farming, even organic farming. But one of the big things is that the root systems are allowed to grow every year. So they go down very deep, up to 80 feet deep. And this allows the plants to pull up minerals that your body has probably never had in its entire life, just because of the way it's farmed. And then on top of that, it's picked at peak ripeness, which is another thing that most traditional farming picks it way too early, which causes more inflammation in the body. It can just cause a host of issues, but this is peaked perfect. And then it's dehydrated at a raw temperature. So it allows, it's not cooked. It's not, anything that sometimes can happen with other shakes. So you have the regenerative farming, you have the raw, and you have the packaging that we're not shipping lots of fruits and vegetables that can become damaged. We're using a lot of gasoline fuel. This is a very condensed package, so it's saving on environmental. And then if you even notice that the container is a little different, it's because it is compostable packaging. So it's so good for the environment on top of what it's doing to our bodies. So this is just, you're getting nourishment that takes your energy, that
Oh,
reduces cravings. All of this just is kind of next level. When you combine it with this, the Super Amino 23, this helps to create really lean muscle. So it's very efficient, and it's not it's already pre-digested, it's fermented. So it's not digested by our digestive system. It goes immediately into the lymphatic system. So when we have a steak, when we have chicken, when we have meat, your body, it takes a lot of energy to break down that muscle, that flesh, into usable amino acids that the body can use. So there's a lot of expenditure of energy. And really, let's say a steak contains 40 grams of protein. When you convert it, by the time you're using all that energy, it's only usable about 30% of that. Whereas with the super aminos, it's actually 99% utilization rate, because it skips all of that effort that the body has to expend. So it's a very efficient use of protein. When I think how much a steak costs, and you're not even getting over just 1/3 of the benefit, that's a lot of wasted money. And it's a very efficient use of resources, really. So the two of those things, the power shake and the aminos, that creates a meal. So you do that twice a day. And then on top of that, you would take a biomedic. And biomedic is just kind of a game changer because if you see it says it can flush out glyphosate. So I'm not sure if you've ever heard of glyphosate. Has anybody heard of glyphosate before? Maybe you can raise your hand if you have. So I'm seeing some nodding heads. So glyphosate is the active ingredient in Roundup. And Roundup is sprayed all over our crops, even sadly the organic ones. They use it not only as a pesticide control, but they also use it as a desiccant, so it dries out the crop. And organic farmers sadly are able to use this chemical for that purpose. But it's very sticky. It almost coats the cells of our body. It's very tacky, so it can get kind of caught in the digestive system, and we can't wash it off. We can't cook it out. It's actually inside the plant as it grows. But it's this chemical that causes inflammation in our body. So what they have found is when you take the biomedic, within about 6 weeks, there have been research studies that show that within about 6 weeks, your inflammation levels actually go down by about 75%. So there's a direct correlation between glyphosate and inflammation. And you can test that using, the doctors will test it with CRP level. So it's pretty fascinating that once you get that out of the body, or, for the most part, out of the body, your gut then can start to heal. Allergies you can see them diminish. Your digestion improves. There have been people that have not been able to eat certain foods almost their whole life that are now able to eat them because of biomedics. So you're really getting to the root cause, and it's pretty profound when we stop Band-Aid, putting Band-Aids on things, and we get to the root, how amazing our body does with its health. So those three are the component here. The next one, this is going to be 2 tablespoons at night. You don't have to do it at night. I tend to do this maybe with dinner, but it's one ingredient and it's apothecary. And what this does is it helps to balance the melatonin that our body naturally produces. Cherries actually have the highest levels of melatonin. So when we do everything naturally, it's not like we're just taking a melatonin pill and that's all we do. It's cherry. So it works very synergistically. So it actually helps with inflammation. What's interesting is a lot of athletes now are using this instead of Tylenol and Advil because it helps to bring inflammation down. So when we add this to this program, not only are we getting rid of inflammation through the biomedic, but we're adding it with the apothecary. What's interesting with this is I have even, if I feel like if I feel inflammation in my lungs, I will actually take an extra dose of the apothecary, and I've noticed that it helps. So this is a really nice addition to the program as well. And then that is the primary foundation of the program. You can actually add on to the program with different products. This one is Zinc Aid, and I love this one because, and this is what drew me to this company in the first place, is because all of what this company has with their products is 100% whole food. And I knew that that was important, but I was not able to find supplements that were 100% whole food sourced. So when I found that I could finally have a healthy replacement for zinc, vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin D, and E that wasn't lab made, that wasn't man-made, that didn't have additives, that didn't have binders, all those things actually cause inflammation in our body. So to be able to have a natural source of that was just super thrilling to me. So this is not part of the program. It's just something that we can add on to the program. So that is the primary, that is the program. There we go. That's the primary program. You can see the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation, the Power Shake Aminos, We have a cleanser, a parasite cleanse that we add on that helps to flush parasites out. That's also a very integral part of any kind of healing journey. We have the cherry and the biomedic. Then, like I had mentioned, you can add amino, immune, I'm sorry, which is one of my favorites because of the fact that it's whole food, plant-based sourced. And you can even add collagen, or you could even add the performance. So we have different programs, but you can just get back with the person that invited you to. What we do with this program is we meet with you and we discuss what your health goals are. And when we see what your objective is, then we match you up with a program that would best support your goals. So that's how we work. And then so after you sign up, we suggest you do this for 90 days. And just for the sole reason of Rome wasn't built overnight, right? So we didn't get into our present health condition in 30 days, and it's not going to be 30 days to reverse it. It's a whole lifetime of habits. And so what we have found is 1 month usually gets things really going and you can start to see massive improvements. But it's about those 3 months where you really start to solidify the habits and you really start to see some big things change. Because for instance, remember those studies that were done on the biomedic? They were 6 weeks before all the or before 75% of the glyphosate was removed from the body. So it is not an overnight thing. And again, it's food. So sometimes when we take a pill, they can say, oh yeah, in 2 weeks you should notice something. Well, when we're dealing with food and we're getting to the root cause, sometimes it's not always that quick. Sometimes it is. I'm going to share some testimonials where it is, but it's one of those things where we suggest viewing this as kind of having a long-term game. So I mentioned some of these testimonials, some of these amazing things that people have seen with this program. This is really, really cool. So remember I talked about the different products, the packages that we have. So one of them is ULT plus collagen support, and then she added the hair, skin, and nails. And look at this difference in a little less than a year. Isn't that unbelievable? With her hair, what nourishment can do for the body. And then remember I had talked about people seeing results so quickly. This is day 3 on the program. And mind you, I have even had people that after their first sip, I've had 2 clients mention it. After their first sip, they felt their brain light up. Like it can happen that quick. But for her, day 3, she's feeling satiated. She doesn't need to eat constantly, so she's not so hangry, right? Less cravings, mentally feeling less down during the day. So that's just kind of cool how quickly real food, how quickly our body responds to real good, healthy food. Got some other ones here. Sorry, my screen is not moving forward. There we go. So this is eczema. So look at these pictures. It would crack and bleed and almost cause her to quit her job because she was in so much pain. Her sister said, try this transformation. And within 5 days, her hand started to heal. And this picture is about 2 weeks in. So, I mean, that one hand almost doesn't even look, like like the coloring just doesn't even look right. And then this one, you just see it's just perfect, beautiful, healthy flesh. And same thing here. You can see it just looks very painful, right? The open skin, and then the difference with I don't know the timing on this one, but I mean, that's just pretty profound. And then this one is my favorite. This is my customer. She was really struggling. So this is the 1 month, exactly 1 month you can see her before and then her after. I mean, look at that skin to clear up the skin difference. And for me, when I see that, I just feel like that is an example of what the detoxification portion does with cleansing the body, the gut of the biometic, getting the glyphosate out. And then you can see this is 2 months. So this was another before, and then 2 months later. I mean, doesn't that just look like another person? I mean, I just think that's so amazing. And like I said, she is a customer of mine. So for me as a nurse, for somebody that has been in the medical profession and not seeing answers and not seeing people get better, to see such a transformation in just 1 and 2 months, and you can just see the joy that's coming back into her eyes when she's finally getting her life back. And I mean, this is why you get into healthcare or a healing profession or a helping, profession in the first place, is to make a difference. And I feel like I finally have found something that is making a difference. And Alethea has found something that's making a difference. And that's why we were so passionate about sharing this with you and inviting you to learn more about it. So I I hope that we answered all of your questions. Um, I'm going to stop sharing here. And Aaron, are you in a position, would you like to share your story with the program?
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. Well, we started the same time, so it's been almost 2 years now. And when you do something for this long, it's like it has ups and downs. So for the first 3 months when we first did it, it was amazing. I felt better. It was very similar to when so I don't know if Erica shared how much we adjusted our diet. Like I'd never really even tried a diet until maybe 2020. Like you could never say like I tried this or that. I'd always heard people doing things. But 2020 came around and we started trying things because Erica wasn't really feeling great. And I was like, all right, whatever you do, I'll do. So we tried vegan, we tried some, I don't know, like just eating butter and I don't know, all these crazy things. Like we eventually did just fruit for like 4 months and I felt amazing. I felt so good. We're like raw vegans and we felt really, really good on that. That was like the best. But it was really hard to sustain because nobody wants to have you over or be your friend if you're a raw vegan. So it's like it's hard to interact with other people. So this program came along and I feel the same as I felt when we were doing raw vegan food because I feel like because it is raw, it's like or regeneratively grown. So I felt good like that. And then the fact that you only have to do it in the morning and in the afternoon, and then you can eat just a healthier meal at night. So we're mostly vegan. But if like some plant-based or if some non-plant-based stuff slips in there, I feel okay. I can definitely tell a different, you don't, I think she said that you don't have to eat a specific diet on this program. But I do notice the cleaner I eat and the closer I follow the program, the better I feel. So like the last, I don't know, 3 months or so, I kind of slipped. I went off the rails and like I'd grab a bag of cookies, like a vegan cookies on the way home, or like eat some vegan ice cream, like a whole tub of it or whatever. And that kind of drugged me down. I was drinking more alcohol, like a drink every night. I kind of got back into a wine habit. So then so like that drugged me down a little bit. But then the last 3 weeks, I'm like, I'm going back on the program because we have this big Purium convention coming up in July in Phoenix. So like people from all over the country are going to come. I'm like, I got to get back in shape because like we're going to be in swimsuits and stuff. So I was like, we got to like make sure I can't say I'm on this like healthy diet and then have like, not look like it. So, and I feel better though. Like my brain's been more awake. I've had a lot of like business stuff to deal with, and I'm an electrician, so it's just like a lot of technical stuff. And then I'm running my own business, so like there's always something to do, and it's like long days. So, but I've been feeling good, other than coming off sugar cravings. Those for me have taken a little bit to go away, but um, I've been like pretty strict, just doing the real Purium program with the shakes and the shake, and then they call them flex foods. So it's like apples, bananas, fruit, vegetables, stuff that you wouldn't typically consider junk food. So I've just been doing that for the last about 2, 3 weeks, and yeah, I feel a lot better. I was like, oh, duh. When you do the program the way you're supposed to do it, it really is. You feel a lot better. I also have these like sorry if this is TMI, but like sometimes you can see I'm very fair skinned. So I get these kind of red blotches if I eat too much bread or sugar. So it kind of gets blotchy. And Eric will be like, "What have you been eating?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And he's like, "Yeah, right. Like you got all these red blotches." So those have cleared up. Those go away when I eat this way, and it's just kind of nice. Skin clears up. It's just amazing how it's all connected. But yeah, I feel good. I enjoy doing it. You know, you feel like some self-respect and self-esteem boost also when you're taking care of yourself. So it's been really good when we're on the program, and it's also been kind of fun to do this with Erica.
Thank you for sharing your man's perspective of the program. I appreciate that. And you brought up some good points. So you don't have to follow a specific diet to do this. Some people do, these are designed to be meal replacements because they are complete meals, and they do break down to about $6 a meal, a shake. But it depends on your lifestyle. Like Aaron, he mentioned he's an electrician, he's very busy. So some people decide to use to even it depends on your hunger level. Sometimes they are satiating enough, and sometimes you need a little bit extra. And there's no hard and fast rules. You can design the program how you want it to look. So some people can even use the shakes as their snacks to instead of maybe more junky food snacks. So the other thing too is when you are following the program and you feel like you do need extra food, like Aaron mentioned, we suggest that you follow more whole food, plant-based foods. It's not necessary, but the more you flood your body with nutrients, so bananas, fruits, lettuce, salads, carrots, hummus, guacamole, those things are just higher in nutrients, and you're going to see better results with the program. But again, we've had customers that are going through different maybe life phases and they don't feel like they can do the program, and we still suggest don't give up. Just let the body work its magic when you get the nutrition. And even though they're not able to do the program maybe the way they want to do it, they're still shocked at the benefits that they get. So never feel like you have to be perfect with this. You're still going to get really good results. One of the things that helps you to get better results is all the support. So I had mentioned that we do coaching calls, we do follow-ups. We also have Facebook support groups. When you get a group together, you can all start at the same time or around the same time, and you can jump in on our Facebook support calls on Friday, get the support you need to continue. It's really fun to do this program as a team and to see everybody that is on the same path and journey as you. So that's pretty fun. And one of the advantages with this program is the community that you get. So we hope that we answered most of your questions. If you still have some, definitely feel free to raise your hand and we can answer those. The other thing is that we are not your medical doctors, your medical professionals, so we're not going to be able to give medical advice specific for your situation. Anytime you have a specific question, I mentioned I had Hashimoto's. If you have doctors or a specific medical question, what we suggest is just show them the labels. They're usually super impressed. They're usually super excited that you're doing something like this to help with your health. And then they're usually more than willing to work with you on the medical side. And then we will work with you on the support side to continue doing this program to the best of your ability. So I'll stop the recording here and then feel free to ask any questions that you might have. And thank you all again so much for coming.